Hi, everybody, and welcome to the DonorScape Level 3 Administrator Functions Training. I'm Kat Benakis, part of the analytics team here at GG&A. And today we're going to be going over how to add, edit, and delete users, how to process admin approvals, how to create and assign record ownership, creating and modifying custom fields, and generating account-level reports. I'm joined today by my colleague, Lana Buseman.
We'll be stopping throughout the webinar to answer your questions. Please direct your questions to the host, which is under the name Anthony. Any questions that we aren't able to get to during the session will be answered as part of the follow-up transcript that we'll email out to registrants. If at any point during the webinar you're experiencing any technical difficulties, please send me an email at lbuseman@grenzgleer.com. That's LBUSEMAN@GRENZGLIER.com, or call our meeting provider, WebEx, directly at 866-229-3239. That's 866-229-3239.
And finally, I need to tell you that all names presented during this and all GG&A training sessions for DonorScape are from public records and bear no relationship to any GG&A client institutions. The names have been appended with fictional giving and relationship data and are included for demonstration purposes only. So let's begin with adding, editing, and deleting users. There are 3 user levels that you can have when you are setting up new users in DonorScape. There is the read-only level, which is, as it sounds, these individuals can look at records and export reports on individuals or a search of a number of names, but they cannot modify the records or delete them at all, nor can they add new records to the system. Then there are base level users, and they have a whole range of possible functions that we'll look at in more detail. And then there are admin level users, which have all of the provisions of base, plus the ability to add new users, to run account level reports, to update multiple records, basically everything we're doing in today's training. And you can have as many users as you would like at any level in your account. So if you want to give everybody admin level functions, you certainly may. It is entirely up to you, and there is no charge that differs for this. So let's flip over to the application. I am signed into a DonorScape account here, and to get to the admin level functions, I'm going to jump up to this drop down here, the little triangle next to my name, and click on admin. And this will take me immediately to the user tab. Now I have the option here to edit the provisions of existing users or to add new users. If I wanted to edit the provisions of existing users, I would select their username from the drop-down, and then I could change their provisions. Changing the provisions includes deleting them if they are no longer with your institution. So let's go ahead and add a new person. So I've clicked on the Add Radio button. I am going to have their start date be today. You might want to have their start date in the future if this was a person who was going to be coming on as future staff, or you just got started with your account and you haven't trained everyone yet, so you don't want them to log in. You can choose their start date. And today we're going to be setting up Lana as a new user. So I'm going to put in L Buseman 2, and I'm assigning her a temporary password that she will be asked to change once she logs in. And then we have these 3 user types: admin, read-only, or base. If I were to select read-only, it really limits the options I have for what I can customize on her. The only things I can select here are view all, view assigned, and view unassigned. This refers to the record ownership function that we'll get to later in the session. I can make her status active or inactive. And then I can choose her match preferences. So right now she's set at user defined, which means that she gets to choose the match quality rating at which she sees records and matches. If I were to choose admin defined though, I as the administrator dictate what level of matches she sees, and she just doesn't see any of the other matches or match options. So she doesn't get the bullseye that allows her to choose, I want to see exact near possible or now exact near. If I were to say admin defined and select exact only, that's all she would ever know and all she would ever see. I'm going to let her select though, so user defined, and then I get to choose whether she can share searches under the advanced search feature. If I move up to base, then there are all of these other things that are options under access rights. I can choose to let her add new prospects one at a time, add multiple prospects, whether she can update prospects under the prospect edit function that we went over in the introductory session. And then if I've given her the ability to add new prospects, I can choose whether or not she needs my approval to delete those things. So in the case of needing approval, here's what would happen. She would go in, she would go to add a new prospect under add new prospects, or she would be working with a prospect record and go to delete it, but then the administrator would actually have to approve that. And here we can see that under admin approval needed. For demo user 3, I dictated that they needed admin approval to add new prospects or to delete prospects. So here, demo user 3 tried to add Toby Hall, for whom we can see in the preview there is a Dun & Bradstreet match and a Lexis match, but that record won't actually be added to the system unless I accept the add, or I can decline it. Likewise, demo user 3 tried to delete a record for Robert Ford, and I have to approve that this record can be deleted or not. And that made Lana disappear. We will go back. Come on. There we go. On occasion, when you're setting somebody up, when we go to add them, it will say when we go to save it or add that name is already in use. That's sort of like when you go to set up a new email account and your preferred email name is already in use. It's not just within your account, it's anywhere in the DonorScape system. If that happens, you know, change a number on the end of the name, something like that. Similarly, you'll just have to keep going through to find out if the name is not in use. So we're adding Miss Lana Buseman, GGNA Queen. Thank you, Autofill Chrome. This does make it easy. You want to make sure that you do have an accurate email, because as you'll recall from previous trainings, that is how we send both passwords and also people get the confirmation that any of their reports are complete, exports, everything like that. So do make sure that you have an accurate and up-to-date email, and also make sure that your Barracuda, spam, everything like that has support@DonorScape.com as an approved sender. Otherwise, you will never get your password reset. It will be gone to the hinterlands of your IT department, as will all of your exports. So here I've got Lana set up as a base user. I'm going to let her add multiple prospects and not require my approval. So we're going to go ahead and add her. It is thinking. And she's been added. I can check that she's been added by flipping over to Edit. And there is her name. And just to show you the difference of what it is when she logs in when it's admin defined versus user defined, I'm going to go ahead and say admin defined exact only. Save it. Then let me show you when she logs in here, or rather I am logging in as Lana. So she's forced to change her password. Go to Explore Prospects. And of course it is thinking hard as we are logging in. And you'll notice immediately when it comes up, there's no bullseye here to change the match quality rating. She is just set at exact. And when you go to look at an individual person's record, likewise, you can't modify it at all in terms of the match quality rating, and we are only seeing the exact matches. This is something you would want to do if you were, wanting to limit what gift officers could see or anything like that in terms of their level of access and visibility, whether you had cleaned the records, something like that. Okay, I'm going to pause briefly and just see if there are any questions about adding new users and their provisions. Well then, seeing none, let's go on and we're going to look at controlling record ownership. Now, this is the function that we have within DonorScape that allows you as the administrator to dictate which DonorScape users can see which records. Why would you want to do this? You might want your gift officers only to see within DonorScape the records that are in their portfolio. Or you might want to let all of the users, the DonorScape users who are affiliated with the med school, to see records that are under med school. Or we have this happen frequently when there are multiple campuses. So a university has, there's the university, there's the hospital, there's the radio station, and the museum, and you want to parse it out that way. Or you want to allow your gift officers to see only the records that are in their portfolio and have been cleaned, something like this. So for whatever reason, you want to limit the records that DonorScape users are able to see. And there are 4 ways that you can do this. The other thing that we have it frequently with is when it's some sort of national organization where you have multiple local affiliates. You want the local affiliates just to see the people in their geographic area. Any number of reasons you would do it. So 4 options. One is you can fill out a template that you upload, and it's very similar to the Update Multiple Prospects template or the Upload Multiple Prospects template, except it's shorter, and we'll look at that. You can assign record ownership based on prospects that you have isolated in an advanced search that you've saved. You can do it based on filters within the interface, and then you can assign them from one DonorScape user to another. So say at your Arizona affiliate, you have a new staff member, and you want to assign exactly the same provisions either from an old staff member or from an existing staff member to a new one. So let's look at these 4 in detail. I'm going to go under I am going first to the Update Prospect Information tab. This is where we did the Update Multiple Prospects in the Level 2 session. And here I'm going to pull down the Prospect Record Owners Download Template. It's going to pull up a template, and it is a 3-column template, very similar to the other templates, except this one has just 3 columns. The account ID, that's under the Add New Prospects tab, the username, so it would be LBusman2, Demo User 3, whatever is their DonorScape user, and then the prospect ID of the prospects you want to assign to them. Just like in the other templates, save it as a CSV beginning with the account ID number, and then you would find the file and upload it. The other 3 options are under record owners. So first we have the option to use a saved advanced search. So I have selected here designate/remove record owners. And I am going to choose from the search CA only KB. So that's a saved search I have for all prospects with the home state of California. And this gives me 1,505 folks. I've chosen the advanced search from Assign From. And then on the bottom here, I choose which, if any, staff DonorScape user I would like to assign that to. So I am going to have all of these folks in California assigned to user demo 2, which is Anthony. And I'll choose Assign. And here we have at the bottom these, and I clicked Assign, so it did just the first 15. If I were to have him selected and say Assign All, now we've got the full 1,505 folks from that advanced search now assigned to Anthony. The next option for assigning is to do it by filter. So I'm going to clear out that advanced search and go back to all records. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose that I want to filter by the state of Alaska. I could also filter by alpha last name and by any of my client supplied fields. So here on this account I have just 2 client defined fields, active, yes, no, and whether they're a gala attendee. So I'm choosing the state of Alaska. I'm going to choose Go. And that's going to give me all of the records, the 26 folks from the state of Alaska. And I am going to assign them also to Anthony. So I'm going to go ahead and click Assign All. And we have added those folks to Anthony's record. Now here I have the option to modify this and take some people out one by one. I could clear all of the records. I could unassign those 3. You can modify it from the person. And finally, we can copy or move record ownership from one person to another. So here I have demo user 3 who has these 10 records owned by him, and I want to copy those same records to Lana. So I've chosen these 10 folks that are owned by demo user 3, and I'm going to copy all 10 of them to Lana. If demo user 3 had been with the institution and then left, and you wanted to move demo user 3's access from demo user 3 to Lana, who is the new staff member, you would select them, and then instead of saying copy all, you would say move all. Okay? This may be a provision that you want. You may never want to use it, but we do allow it if it is a limitation that you would like to enact at your organization. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions so far on record ownership or on creating users. I realize that I was using the term assign frequently in talking about record ownership. This has nothing to do with the text field in DonorScape, which is which is the assigned solicitor text field. This is purely for which DonorScape users have access to which records. And if you never assign, if you never attribute record owners and never limit it that way, everyone will be able to see everybody. You need never use this if you don't want to. Okay, let's jump over to how to add some additional custom fields. So we saw when I was using the filters that currently there are 3 assigned custom fields here with labels. You may have many more of your custom fields already in use with labels and populated with data. From our perspective on the processing data side, these are just text fields. They don't actually influence the gift capacity reading, anything like that. We include them so that you can search by these fields, isolate records in different ways. So I'm going to add one additional field here. I'm going to say for my 3rd field, trustee, and then hit save. And now if I go into Explore Prospects and I hit Constituent Information, we see here that the client fields 1, 2, and 3 are replaced with these label names. That's also the label names that will come out in the export. And when I pull up the individual records and look at them in the prospect details page, those are the labels that appear in the prospect details page and also in any of the individual prospect reports that come out with those. And finally, I want to look at some of the account level reports. And these are reports that only administrators have access to. So you should feel very fancy when you get to use the account level reports, because really they're something that only you have. So there are 3 different account level reports. There's a client usage report, which is basically an audit of your users. You can see the summary of activity of users, the last time they logged in, what they've done. You cannot see the number of people that they have uploaded, but you can run a basic audit on it. A match statistics report shows the matches at each of the match quality ratings by number and percentage. So this is going to come out in a Word doc, and it is going to show you you had 3,000 exact level matches in Dun & Bradstreet, which was 60% of all of your Dun & Bradstreet matches. So it's going to show you by outside data source and by match quality rating the number and percent of matches across your account. And finally, there's the export all data. So this is tied to an advanced search. So you would first set, or a simple search, you would first set the population that you want to run. And then what this is going to do is it's going to spit out a separate TXT data table for every one of our outside data sources. So you'll get a separate table for stock, for LexisNexis, for Reuters Market Guide, all of the different data sources. It's going to spit out a separate file with the prospect ID as the unique identifier, and it lets you see all of the background information that we have from all of those vendors. So why would you use this? We go over this in the 4th level training about advanced data segmentation, but you would use it if you wanted to search and run queries either in Access or in SQL or something like that to identify all of the records that have multiple properties, all of the records that have any number of properties in Nantucket, or as this example shows, you want to know everyone who's going to have stock options coming up before December 31st of this year so that you can make a gift ask for stock options. Or you just want to geek out and look at all of the back-end data. We want to give you the satisfaction of that geek moment. So of all of these account level reports, by far export all data is the most popular. And how do we do these? I'm glad you asked. So we're going to go over to generate insights. You want to go beyond these insight reports that your base level users have, everything like that, and you're going to go down to the export data based on current search. Only admin level users have this magic box down here. And so your client usage report is the audit. The match statistics report is that matches by vendor, by number, by percent, and then the export all data. The export all data and the match statistics report are both tied to the current search that you've run. So if you want to run it across your whole account, you would do explore prospects, not choose any limitations, and hit search. Or if you wanted to do it just for a subset, here I'm going to select only those folks in California. It pulls up this search of the people I want, and then I can do either the match stats report or the export all data on them. I'm going to click export all data. For any of these reports, like the exports in Excel, you'll get an email confirmation once they are ready. So you don't need to sit and wait for them to go. But I did want to show you this when you go to export all data, you want to wait until you get this confirmation window. It says this file can take up to 30 minutes to generate depending on the amount of data being exported. By 30 minutes, we mean actually a lot longer. So wait until you get this confirmation. Then you can close the window and go about your life. It's running in the background. You will get an email, all of that, but if you're doing hundreds of thousands of records, doing all of the background tables on that can take quite a bit of time. But it is now generating in the background. You've hit process report. When you get that confirmation email that it's complete, you'll go back here to generate insights, and you'll have a little download button for it. The export all data report comes out as a zip file with, I think, 13 separate TXT files in it. Match stats and client usage report both come out in Word and are not zipped. So that, my friends, is a whirlwind overview of everything that you can do in your great capacity power as administrators. As with all of our work, you can read up on it in the user's guide, which you can download here, or look into it here under administrative functions. And we are always delighted and happy to help you out as you are working through this and setting people up and getting to know the system. And the way that you get in touch with us on that is at 866-378-8540 or emailing us at support@DonorScape.com. And if you would like to continue in the GG&A webinar world, we have a webinar coming up next Thursday on positioning your capital campaign communications for sustained success. I also want to mention that if you wanted to do something with the advanced data segmentation and don't feel comfortable doing access and that sort of thing at this point, get in touch with us if there's a specific project you want run on that. Happy to help you do that. And if at any point you do need an audit of total number of uploads, records run, something like that, that you're not able to get either from your balance or from your client usage report, we can run a back-end audit of all records that have been uploaded by number and by user if for some reason you needed a really granular audit on that. We have not received any questions, which, you know, I find really gratifying, that then you have no questions. I have preempted them and answered all of them. But if anything comes to you, I'm going to stay online for a little bit. Feel free to chat it in. Feel free to give us a call or email as follow-up. But if you don't have questions, I thank you for your time today, and I hope that you have just a grand adventure being the administrators of your DonorScape account. We are so delighted to have you as part of the DonorScape community. Have a great day, everybody.